welcome to this Motion 5 tutorial. And you saw the title effect that I just had on the screen, and it's like a flashing, dancing, glow letters sort of combination. And I'm going to show you how to make that today, and I am going to make it as a Final Cut generator. If you want to just make it as an intro, or you want to screen blend it later and you just want to make it, or you haven't got Final Cut, you're using iMovie, then just make it as a motion project and you'll be okay from there. You'll be able to blend it in from there. But I'm going to make it as a Final Cut generator so then I can utilize it in Final Cut. So I'm going to go to project properties and make them 30 frames per second, and I am going to make this in duration. I'm going to make it 60 seconds. The reason I'm going to make it 60 seconds is somewhere on the screen you will see like a channel branding type logo, and that's what I'm going to create, one of those type things. So I want it to be 60 seconds. In fact, let's have it 30 seconds, not 60 seconds, let's 30 seconds, a little bit easier. Final Cut generator, like I said, if you're going to use it in iMovie or you're going to use it as an intro, then make it as a motion project. And I'm going to use Final Cut generator and I'm going to click open. Okay, once we're in motion, the first thing we're going to do, as always, is go to this 100% here, this preview pane, and click the down arrow and select fit. And this just fits, as always, just fits my preview pane to my window in use. It's really, really simple. I'm going to go to this group. I'm going to double click this group in my layers pane and just rename it text. I'm going to highlight it and then select my text tool. Drag out an area for my text and then type in the text that I desire. I'm going to go to my inspector. So with my text selected in my layers, go to my inspector, go to format, and I'm going to scale it up a little bit. Now you notice this is sort of an aftermarket font that I've got, and it's called Nasalization Free, and you can get it from 1001fonts.com, I do believe. I'll put the link to that in the comments below anyway, into the description below, should I say. But just be careful if you're using sort of aftermarket fonts, because sometimes, let me try and find one for you. Okay, let me just, I'm just gonna just bear with me just a second. Okay, so this one, no, that does that. That works. Let me find one. I will find one. I know which one. There's one called Val. A small one called Val. There we go. So if you notice this Val, in the font it has got the the letters, but not the numbers. So if you're going to use numbers in some of your compositions, just be aware if you're using aftermarket fonts that sometimes they don't have the numbers to go with them. So always try and select a font that's got the numbers to go with it. And I'm just going to select any font just for the time being, and I'm going to drag this out so my font fits, and then fit my text box nicely around my text. It's just for ease afterwards. And then I'm going to select text in my layers pane, then the actual text again, and then position the text to where I want it to be. And this is exactly where I want it to be. Now I'm going to go to style, and I'm going to turn on my outline. Now you can drop this down and select whatever colour you want, but just for this purposes I'm going to use this orangey type colour. That was a bit boring, I think. Let's go to a red, a reddy pink. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to turn the blur up a little bit, and then the width up a little bit more, then the blur up again, then the width a little bit more, then have a bit more blur, a bit more width. Now what you can do is change the underface to overface, and this will give you a different effect. So you'll have to turn the blur down and you'll have to turn the width down because it's now overface and not underface. But I'm going to have it underface, which means I'm going to have to turn them right back up a little bit. Just turn the width down. So I'm just going to mess about. There's no specific numbers. I've got mine on 10 and 10. And it's just whatever you are happy with. Now, to give us a sort of a little bit of a 3D effect on the text, I'm going to highlight this drop shadow down here. So I'm going to turn it on down here. Then open the colour and make it white. and then just turn the distance up a little bit, and you will notice behind the actual text itself, if I drag it out a little bit more, it's just moving a drop shadow distance. So if I move it out a little bit more, and behind the glow, it will give it a 3D effect, a 3D feel to it. But just be aware, if you changed the colour towards what colour your blur is, then it's just going to look more blurred. So you have to try and keep it the same colour as your actual text, the face of your text, should I say. Okay, so that's really, really easy. Now I'm just going to make sure my timeline's at the start, and then I'm going to go to layout right here. Now you see these type on, type off, start and end keys. This is what we're going to keyframe quite a lot on. We need to make sure that this fade in is checked first, and then we're going to drag this end of the type on, so it comes from the end down the way, so it comes from here to here. I'm going to drag it all the way down so it's reading 0%. We're then going to keyframe, I know we've dragged the end down, but we're going to keyframe the start type on. We're then going to go up to about a second here, a second. So I've got it on show frames, little arrow there, show frames, show timecode. Okay, so we've got it on show timecode. I'm going to go to about a second, doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm going to drag this type on. I'm going to drag the start up. I'm then going to move forward a tiny bit, a split second. I'm going to drag it halfway back down, move up a little tiny bit more, drag it back up a tiny bit, and I'm just randomizing where I'm dragging it up and dragging it down, and I'm just making a lot of keyframes over about a 3-second period. So just keep dragging it out. I'm just moving along in my timeline slightly, dragging it up till I get about a 3-second, because if you think a 3-second period in elapsed time is not that great really, and then just over 3 seconds, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I go back to the start, or in the middle. The middle's quite nice, so I'm going to go back to the mid of my text. I'm then going to keyframe. The end of the type on, and move forward another split second, and just drag the end all the way up and the start all the way down. Okay? So now, if I play this along, it will look a little bit funky and a little bit flashy, dancing lights, and there we go. Now obviously we can slow this down by dragging these timelines out a little bit, and you might want to do that, it's totally up to you, and you can extend the time that it flashes over, and it's totally down to you. But I think it makes it look a bit, so you could play it with, depending on what sort of music, you could even do this to music, and I might even look at doing a tutorial on that. But it really is that simple. And then I'm just going to leave it for because I'm using it as a sort of channel branding logo on the bottom left of my screen. I'm going to leave it up to about 20 seconds. I'm then going to keyframe the end, drag it up to about 22, and slowly take the text away. Up to about 24, keyframe the start, drag it up again, and then we're just going to start the process again. And just keep moving our timeline slowly, moving our type on or type start up and down over a period of time. So then once it's finished, it will animate over a 30-second period. So now we can go bring our start up, our end up, sorry, and our start down the way. So now if we look at this one, what I've done with this one, so it's just staying on the screen, because you don't want it to take away too much of what is actually going on the screen if you're using it as a channel branding. If you're using it as a logo, I would suggest that you stop at this sort of point here. So you only have it sort of a 6, 7, 8-second period, and your keyframes are split over that period if you're having it as an intro or an outro. But if you're having it as I'm demonstrating it here, as a channel branding logo in this corner of the screen, then you want to probably think about doing it over a longer period of time. So this is what's going to happen on the second part, and then the 13th design is in. So the start is like this, then it stays there for 30 seconds, 20 seconds or so, and then it goes into the second part of the animation. It really is that easy. So, and like I say, you know, it's totally down to you what speed you use the start, the type on, the start and the ends. But it is important that you keep this box right here, this fade checked. Otherwise, you won't get the same effect. In fact, you will get no text at all pop up on your screen. So, enjoy that, and I'll be back.